he's got the COVID fatigue now.
Uh-oh.
He said he made it out of the house yesterday for the first time in eons. He went to Target to pick up some items, and he said it was just nice to be out amongst the living.
I hope he doesn't catch that long COVID.
Well, he's, I don't know, I call him about every other day just to check in, so I'll be down there to...
He's a strong guy, and he's in good shape, though, right?
It's true, but he's lost a lot of weight because he hasn't been eating. So he's on the road to recovery, but I'll be down there in a couple weeks to feed him and take care of him. So I'll check in on my boy.
Yeah.
All right, so this sounds good. You came up with a plan. You're not going to just do it and then present that to your wife later.
No, that would be really stupid.
That'd be a dumb maneuver.
Yes. Look at Shacker. He's coming up with little Foo Fighters.
He's tempting you.
Yeah, I know.
Temptation, Godfather.
And by the way, if anybody out there has a couple tickets to spare that they'd want to sell me for face value, I'm in. Or if they just rather, have a nice evening with Nancy and I, we'd be happy to go along with you.
I mean, I'm with you on that. People, if you have extra tickets to Foo Fighters, the Godfather has been giving to the community since 1976. I feel like you should offer up a ticket to the Godfather.
Thank you, Chad.
Can't you just listen to the show from the Mac stop?
Yeah, what about the Mac Club?
Mac Club's out of the picture.
What did Rob Kloss tell you?
Said the balcony, they don't do that anymore. Remember, they used to always do that.
But why do they not do that anymore?
Because you can't see the stage. The stage, all you see is the back of the stage. But the sound is the thing, obviously.
I would go into the Mac Club and go out in the balcony, you and Nancy alone, and just sit out there and listen.
Yeah, well, I'm not a member. So, yeah, can you imagine what they could get to sit out there on that balcony from their members?
More than a convenience fee.
Absolutely.
All right. Hope you're enjoying your day. Oh, I've got a golf redemption story coming up at 4 o'clock.
Excellent.
It was a beautiful day on the golf course. I can't wait to talk about it.
Beautiful day everywhere today, Chad.
And we're stuck inside freezing our balls off.
Yeah, it's cold in here.
All right, when we come back, someone posed 3 great questions about the 3-on-3 basketball.
Yeah.
I still can't figure out what Jimmer Fredette was getting at the Olympics. What was that? What was going on with that video?
He didn't. I think he needed a little adjustment.
Well, if I know that that's part of 3-on-3 basketball, I want some of that.
Yeah, you're in.
And then also Kiki Vandeweghe's birthday today, former Blazer.
Yep.
And we got a little Chick Hearn interview we'll play for you as well. You got the Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad. Rip City Radio wants to send you on an unforgettable trip to Victoria, BC on the Black Ball Ferry Line. Check out the contest page at ripcityradio.com today for complete details and your chances to win. The package includes a one-night stay for 2 at the Chateau Victoria Hotel and Suites, round-trip fare on the Black Ball Ferry Line, a pair of tickets for the Bouchard Gardens, a pair of tickets to the Skywalk, and a pair of tickets on the double-decker hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour.
I appreciate you letting the music play.
All right, Godfather Mika has chimed in. Two
Uh-oh.
things for you. Number one, she thinks you're crazy. She says George Michael is awesome. And then also, she thinks you should look to crowdsource to get you to Foo Fighters.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Crowdsource?
yeah. Where people help fund your mission to go see the Foo Fighters.
I don't know about that.
I think that's a good idea.
That's like begging on the side of the freeway off-ramp.
I
isn't it?
realized that through your time as in particular, the columnist for the Oregonian, that you frustrated a lot of people. And I've got audio evidence of that. But you've been serving the community for a long time. It's about time they give back to you, right? I mean, how long do you have to give before they finally give back to you?
No, nobody owes me anything. Nothing. I appreciate that, though.
I'm trying to help you, man.
I know you are, but I don't like to beg, That's not very becoming.
I'd be willing to bet my bottom dollar that you will not lower yourself to buy $55 seats for Foo Fighters.
I found some for $95 that look pretty good to me. Yeah.
95.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Side. They're on the 18th Street side,
Oh.
which is a little better, I think, closer. And then I'm remembering, he's still using that stage where he walks out and then there's a little platform amongst the audience. I think he'd walk out kind of parallel to where we would be. So at least I could see Dave a little bit.
All right. There you go.
They're obstructed view, it says, but
You're getting creative with your thought process, which I think is terrific.
yeah.
All right. One of my favorite handles on X, Super 70 Sports, has put out a remarkable tweet just asking questions about the 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics. Have you watched any of it?
Very brief.
All right.
Very brief. It's not entertaining for me at all, really.
All right.
Especially with those guys playing in it.
Super 70 Sports says, why is there 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics? And more importantly, how in the hell is Jimmer effing Fredette on the team? Is this like an MTV rock and jock for medals? Or his teammates Alfonso Ribeiro and Queen Latifah?
Yeah. There is some reminiscent to that, yes.
I mean, it's great that for those who have an opportunity to compete in the Olympics, 3-on-3 basketball, like Jimmer Fredette, who didn't amount to a hill of beans in the NBA, he's got a chance to go over there and compete in the Olympics. I mean, I'm fine with it, whatever. I just don't care about watching 3-on-3 hoops in the Olympics. It's just not something that that I feel like I need to watch. That's all.
My thoughts, Chad, are if we're going to compete in it, let's send a good team. We have a 3-on-3 league going on right now with professional players. Why not just take the team that wins that title, send them over there? That'd be fine. Then we'd probably win it.
Yeah, and send Ice Cube over there too, and then we get some positive attention.
Yes.
Jimmer Fredette, I don't need that. I don't need that. Do you need that?
No, I don't know what he's doing on that team. I don't get it, really.
Now, I do want more video of his awkward massages during the course of action. That was really bizarre. I can't stop watching the video. I'm like, what's going on there? Anyways, what? Will you watch the flag football when it comes in? Do you think that'll be worth watching? Or is that going to be a waste?
No, I certainly going to give it a watch to see what it's like.
Do you like watching the table tennis?
Not particularly. No. And I don't gamble on it either, believe it or not.
You don't gamble, period.
Right. But gambling on table tennis right now is huge. Has been for years. I didn't even know this.
Is your brother getting down on the table tennis?
I don't think so. But they're putting it on all night, and they have been. It's a bunch of stuff from Russia and all over Eastern Europe, and they match these guys up and play, and people are betting huge sums of money on it. And you don't even know if it's real. It might be fixed.
All right, let's shift now. Kiki Vandeweghe, today is his birthday.
Yeah.
Former Trailblazer, former Denver Nugget. I knew him during his time in Denver.
Sure. He
Always
was a
thought it
big
was
scorer in those days.
A terrific scorer, great player, two-time NBA All-Star in 83 and 84, first-team All-Pac-10 in 1980, second-team All-Pac-10 in 79, fourth-team Parade All-American in 76. For those younger Blazer fans who never saw him play, how would you describe Kiki Vandeweghe?
A terrific offensive player. Could do whatever you needed him to do. Could play inside, outside. Biggest hands I've ever seen on a basketball player. I think bigger than Dr. J's hands, maybe. Maybe. Close, anyway. Totally underrated dunker. Probably one of the few guys I've ever seen do 360 two-ball dunks. Easy, like it was nothing. Not a great jumper, but his hands were so huge that the basketball looked like a grape in his hands. I mean, it was ridiculous. But not a great defender. Career ended too soon because of some real chronic back problems that he had.
What was Dr. Jack's issue with Kiki? Defense?
The defense, yeah. And Jack's the one that really wanted to make that trade. They gave up a lot. You know what they gave up. I mean, really good players to Denver to get Kiki. But I think in the long run, most Blazer fans would say it was not a good trade.
Who was it, Fat Lever and Calvin Nat?
Yeah. Yeah, and Wayne Cooper, too, I think.
All I know is that I didn't get to go to the Fat Lever Calvin Nat basketball camp, and I'm still bitter about that. But Fat Lever is one of my favorite basketball players of all time. He was a do-it-all type of player.
Triple-double machine in those days.
He was. Magic was known as a triple-double guy, but always behind him in the good defender, could handle the rock, play the two guard, play the point. He could do anything.
Really good defender.
Yes, and he moved really well without the basketball. So he could handle the rock and set up his teammates or move without the basketball. And when you played for Doug Moe back in the day, it's like if you didn't move without the ball, he would kill you.
Yeah.
He'd go crazy on you. Well, here's an interview. You want to set this up with Chick Hearn?
Yeah. Chick wanted to interview him before a Blazer-Laker game. Because,
and for those who don't know, Chick Hearn was the longtime radio voice of the Lakers.
Yeah.
Tremendous. An icon.
Yeah.
He was basically Vin Scully.
Right. He was the Vin Scully of basketball.
Yeah.
No question. And Kiki was a very popular player in L.A. because he grew up there. His family was just full of tremendous athletes, very well-known family in L.A. His dad was a doctor who had also played in the NBA. And so Chick wanted to get Kiki on the air, I'm sure. But this is Kiki talking about the coaching change, which had just taken effect that year, Mike Schuler replacing Jack Ramsey.
What did Mike Schuler call you?
Big boy.
Big boy.
Hey, big boy, come on over here.
And then
I want to talk to you for a minute.
On the plane, you called it the penalty box when he would call you back.
He would grab Jeff Petrie or me, and we'd go back to the galley and stand there and talk for about an hour. And it's like, okay, your turn in the penalty box.
All right, here's Chick Hearn, longtime voice of the Lakers superstar, with Kiki Vandeweghe.
Reign at the offensive end, that you're more integrated into the offense?
I do. Mike wanted to get me a little bit more freedom on offense, a little bit more of a chance to go one-on-one sometimes. And I think the best thing he's done for this team is really look at the personnel and decide that we're more of a running team than a offensive setup team, a half-court team. And he's really let the guys run a little bit and given them more freedom. A guy like Clyde Drexler will come down, and he's a great open-court player. And Mike has let him do that, and it's really helped my game also.
Has it been any problem for you being the son of a former NBA great? And, of course, your sister's very famous in the world of swimming. What a family. Your mother was the sister of a former NBA star, Mel Hutchins.
Well, she was also Miss America.
That's right.
Which you couldn't tell by looking at me. But she's, you know, the whole family has really helped me a great deal. And I can't say it's hurt me at all, because really people who are standing by you and who understand what you go through when perhaps you have a hard time or a hard game or whatever, makes it just that much easier mentally and that much easier emotionally for you. You know, we're a very close family, as you know, and we stick by each other.
Now, you've been in the league 7 years. I'm not going to count your first year. You were drafted by Dallas, didn't report down there, and played only 51 games, limited minutes that year. But in the next 5 years, you've never been under 23 points a game. You've never been under 53% from the floor. That's unbelievable.
Well, thank you, Chick. It's, you know, offense is something I think that kind of came naturally to me. You know, I played a lot of pickup games and a lot of basketball and in funny gyms every place. And, you know, the NBA game is more of a free-flowing game, and it fits my style of game, I think, perhaps better. You know, the thing that I worry about and concentrate on is my defense. And if I can do that on a consistent basis, I think I'm an effective player.
You play basketball almost every day of the year, don't you?
I really do. I just enjoy it. I just enjoy playing, and when the season ends, I'm kind of sorry to see our season end. It usually ends a little bit too early for us, but I'll take a week or so off, and I'll be back down at the gym and shooting. Just I enjoy it.
However, starting tonight's game, you're only 4.5 behind the Lakers. You got to start beating them sometime. You've lost 19 out of 21 to them, and that's way out of proportion because you guys are a very good basketball team this year.
I think so. We've had some very close games with the Lakers,
Right.
but they just seem to have gotten us at the end, and hopefully it'll turn around for us, and I think it will eventually.
Well, happy birthday to Kiki Vandeweghe, 66 years old. Loved him. And
Yeah.
that trade, by the way, in the summer of '84, Vandeweghe was traded to the Trailblazers in exchange for Calvin Nat, Wayne Cooper, Fat Lever, and 2 draft picks.
Oh, man. Heavy price. Heavy
Jeez.
price. Kiki is still a great guy. And I ran into him a year ago. He was in Portland for something when he was working for the league. And he's still, after all these years, hey, how's that son of yours doing? How's he doing? What's going on with him? Because my son Will was in high school, I think, at the time, playing basketball, and he loved Kiki's step-back jumper. That's the first guy I saw in the league shooting that. And Kiki actually worked with him on that shot and helped him with it, kind of taught him how to use it. But Kiki was just he was like the first guy in the big man's camp. Remember the old big man's camp that they'd have? Pete Newell ran it, and all the NBA guys went. He was one of the first guys to do it. And then when Pete gave it up, he continued to do it after that, kept it running.
That's terrific. Now, Vandeweghe, I think he had a stint in Dallas where he was in the front office, but also did some coaching and was very instrumental in the early days of Dirk Nowitzki and helping him.
Yeah.
He also spent some time in the net with the Nets and getting a chance to work in the front office and doing a little bit of coaching. And then he transitioned to the league where he was the executive vice president of basketball operations for 8 years through 2021 when he transitioned to an advisory role for both Commissioner Adam Silver and president of the league operations, Byron Spruill. So a successful post-playing day career for Vandeweghe. I ran into him, I think it was probably 2015 or 2016. I ran into him at the airport in Oakland. And I approached, and he was hesitant when I first introduced myself. But then when I told him I used to live in Denver and, what I do and, the things I've been doing, he started to open up, and we talked for quite a while. He was very cordial, and he seemed at the time to be enjoying his role with the league and what he was doing. I think he enjoyed it.
Yeah, really nice guy. Always was very nice with fans and all that. Blazer fans might remember his sister. You remember Tana Vandeweghe? She did some halftime, some features for Blazer Broadcasting. And her daughter, I think it's Coco Vandeweghe was her name, played on the women's tennis tour for a while. Really good tennis player. That family's just full of athletes. And can you imagine Kiki's mom was Miss America? What would that be like?
Good gracious. The one thing I do remember in regards to Vandeweghe when I watched him play, he had really a long stride. He moved really well, but I was amazed at how if he was standing at the top of the key or behind the three-point line, it was like one dribble, and then with his long stride, he could be right at the rim.
Yeah.
One dribble and right at the rim.
Yeah.
Not too many guys can do that.
Well, that's one of the secrets to driving to the basket is take bigger steps because your defender is usually slide stepping, and he's not taking big steps. And if you take big enough steps, you beat him to the basket. And Kiki was really fundamentally sound, Chad. You didn't see him making a lot of mistakes. His floor game was excellent.
Yeah. Knew where his teammates were, knew how to get to his spots and knock down shots. And he was pretty much the mid-range game was large and in charge back then in the NBA. He was automatic from the mid-range.
Yeah, but a good three-point shooter. But in those days, you didn't get a chance to show it.
No, a guy like Kiki, I mean, honestly, in today's NBA with the way they play, he would fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Because he could stroke the three, he could get to the rim or to the foul line, and he'd be able to fit in today's game with no problem.
And what Chick said, never had a season, at least to that point, where he shot under 53% from the field. And he was not a post player. He wasn't a back-to-the-basket guy. He was a wing. Shooting that well for a wing in those days especially, that was amazing.
And was he easy to cover? Like,
Oh,
was he pretty
yeah.
open when you talked to him?
Yeah, he never tried to con you about anything. He was very honest about his frailties and what he did well.
Well, wasn't Vandaway the player that you had the conversation with Jack where he was concerned about the defense? And it's like, didn't you ask him, like, does it matter if he's going to put up 25 points on his guy?
Yeah, he talked about his defense. I said, Jack, he's outscoring the guy he's guarding every night, sometimes by 10 or 15 points. I said, if you had everybody doing that, you'd win games by 40. So I wouldn't be as concerned about it.
What was his response to that?
He didn't like me saying that. It's like, what are you talking about? We have to defend. But, I'll never forget that practice. We were just talking afterwards. It was before the All-Star break. And he said, I never get invited to the slam dunk competition. And he was a great dunker in that he dunked real fast. He had fast hands. He'd go up and get his dunk before anybody even went up to block it. But I said, well, are you there? He said, I've never lost a dunk competition all the way through high school and college. I've never lost one. I said, get out of here. You got to be kidding me. He walked over and picked up 2 basketballs, one in his right hand, one in his left hand, from the floor, just picked them up with his palm, and then just sort of casually ran toward a basket on the side of the gym, bam, bam, dunked them both on a 360. I thought, holy cow, that would win most dunk contests.
I'm trying to think. In my early days when I first started watching the dunk competition, until Rex Chapman, I don't remember a white guy being in it. Do you think that's why he wasn't invited, because he's a white guy?
Probably. Brett Barry, I think, won it. He won it one year.
No, I know he did. But I'm saying before that,
Right.
the first white guy that I remember being in the competition was Rex Chapman.
Yeah. I think you're right on that. I'm trying to think of anybody else who could have been in it.
I don't think so.
There weren't too many candidates in those days.
Not white guys.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, Brett Barry won it years and years after that, and that's when Charles Barkley smartly said, okay, a white guy's won it. We can shut that thing down now. One of my favorite lines from him.
To this day, Brent's the only guy. I think he won the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. I don't know if anybody else has ever done both.
Is Brent the only white dude to win a dunk contest in the NBA? Or is there another one?
He might be. He might be. You'd have to look that up in your record book.
Yeah.
Because Larry Bird was never in it. We know that.
No, he won the 3-point competition with ease, but yeah, Bird was not.
No, they had to name that contest after Larry Bird.
And he did it in his warm-up gear, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He wore the tops. Loved that so much. All right, when we come back, did you see those comments from Mitch Garver?
Yes, I did, Chad.
Well, I wonder if your idea of the sourcing of that might be true. We'll discuss that next, but, we'll just tell you what Mitch said in the best way that we can, and we'll try and identify what the issues might be. You got the Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad. All right, Godfather, this is, I guess I would describe this as kind of the sick side of sports sometimes
Yeah.
with what players have to endure from crazy fans.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch Garver, who is going through big-time struggles right now for the Mariners, let out some emotion after yesterday. And I want to read some of the comments to you. This is put out by Ryan Divish, who covers the Mariners. And he says here, Mitch Garver fighting back emotions on trying to get out of his struggles. Quote, "It's probably the hardest I've ever had to grind. This is by far the worst I've ever played in my career. Tough on myself and my family with the death threats, the retire and you suck and effing kill yourself and all that bleep. It's getting old. The only way I change it is if I play better. But it's like continuing right now. So the worse I play, the worse I play more here, and rightfully so. I'm not playing well." And he went on to say, "I've already accepted the fact that I'm not going to hit above 200 this year, and I don't know. It might not get better. Who knows? Maybe it just gets worse. I don't know. But I show up to the field every day prepared to play, prepared to get better, and work hard." And then he said, in regards to still grinding through his struggles, "I've never quit anything. Certainly not going to quit this. They're going to have to rip the jersey off my back. That's fine. That's an easy way out. I could happily retire right now, go home, and live a great life with my family." I mean, he is really going through it right now. And you know what it's like because you're so familiar with baseball, and you know what it's like to go through a struggle.
Yeah.
What's it like when you're going through those type of struggles where you can't buy a hit and you can't get the break or anything to go your way?
No, it's just tough. You can't find your way out. And usually when you're going bad, you got 5 different people telling you what to do. It's like golf is the same way. Well, try this, try that, whatever. And you just have to clear your mind up and try to get a restart.
How do baseball players do that? Do they have a guy, a voice that they listen to? Do they work on it on their own? Like, what's the process there?
Well, what happens is you usually have a hitting coach. There's now usually 2 of them, a hitting coach and an assistant hitting coach. Usually one of those guys is pretty good with video, and he'll show you, here's what you did when you were hitting well, and now here's what you're doing now. But that's one thing. Taking that and putting that into practice isn't always easy. And sometimes you're just not seeing the ball as well as you usually do. And nobody's really ever explained that very well, but it's true. And I think, Chad, some of these guys, too, have private hitting coaches that they see in the offseason. They'll consult them. I know some of the players go all the way back to their dad. And I've heard that. I think Chipper Jones used to do that. His dad was his high school baseball coach. And he'd go back to his dad and say, "Dad, what's going on? What am I doing here?" But there's no easy way out of it. When you're in a kind of slump that this guy is in, I mean, he's well under 200. And, he even admits he's probably not going to get back even to 200 this year.
Wow. No confidence, no feel, no nothing.
And the problem is when you're hitting like that, it seems like you're always coming up with guys on base in the 9th inning or 8th inning, pressure's on, and it's just, it compounds your problems because you're trying even harder. Sometimes you just have to forget that and just go up and hit and not worry about the pressure.
How
But
much
that's
would
easy
one
to
big
say.
hit in a big spot help him?
Usually would help a lot, usually.
Now, the ridiculous comments in terms of, kill yourself, die,
Amazing.
you should retire, all of those comments. You made the point that it's probably the gamblers, right?
I think so, with all the gambling that there is on sports now. And make no mistake, there's plenty of gambling on baseball going on right now. And the people who gamble, even some of the fantasy sports people, it's like that guy's taking money out of their wallet. It's like, you just pickpocketed me, man. You can't be that way. I mean, it's not like this guy's not trying to get a hit. That's what kills me. It's like he's not intentionally hurting you here.
Well,
just relax.
This is one of the adverse impacts that we've discussed. Once you legalize gambling, and they've left it up to the states now for them to decide, and you're seeing sports gambling pop up everywhere now because the states recognize what type of revenue could be generated off of taxes that are dropped on top of the sports wagering. So you've got more people involved. It's easily accessible. So more and more people are gambling now. More new people are coming to gambling every day. And they're gambling on sporting events to sit back and watch the game because it gives the game a little more juice.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. People are putting money on games, and for the first time, they're paying attention to players and teams they never would have thought of prior. And now all of a sudden they see Garver out there struggling. They put money on the M's. They lose the wager, so they turn their frustration to the player.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. When you have people losing money, they get pissed off and they blame the team, the player, whatever the situation may be, and then they resort to those type of comments, which are completely out of line.
But you were a big-time gambler, too. You never did this, did you? You weren't. I can't imagine you did.
No,
that.
I always blamed myself
Yeah.
for making a bad bet.
No, that's the appropriate way to handle it.
I just went into it knowing that I wasn't like a fool to not realize that wagering on sports is crazy because crazy things happen on the diamond, on the football field, on the court.
How many times have we seen that?
Yeah. I would get mad at officials sometimes for calling a ridiculous foul late in the game.
Yeah.
Where free throws, quote, meaningless free throws.
Right. You got the game won. You got the bet won,
Yeah.
and then somebody goes to the foul line and kills you.
The maddest I ever got was, I'll never forget it. It was a painful one. I was at a gas station in Vancouver listening to the game on the radio, and it felt like someone had put a knife right in my gut. I had, this is a long time ago, but I had a lot of money on the Trailblazers who were hosting the San Antonio Spurs. Sizable bet, let's just put it that way. And the Trailblazers were minus 3.5. And they had just scored. They were up by 5. They'd hit a couple of free throws, and there was like 6 or 7 seconds on the clock. So the game was over. And I thought, I got this. The Spurs inbound the ball to Tony Parker. The Trailblazers don't contest anything. And Parker, because he's so fast, zips right down the court with no one around, lays it in. And right when the ball hit the back of the window, the buzzer went off, and it went through the hoop. Trailblazers win the game by 3, and I got punked by a half point. Couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And I remember, I think it was Wheels who's like, well, that meaningless bucket for Parker. I'm like, look, bro, that was the most meaningless. That was the most meaningful bucket of the game, actually.
Yeah, that's known as a bad beat.
Yeah. So, did I wish the Blazers were playing defense at the moment? Yes. Was I mad at Tony Parker for a brief moment? Yes. But I knew who was responsible, me, for being dumb. But that was painful, man. That one was like a gut puncher right there.
But if you're delivering messages like this to some player,
you're a loser. Yeah.
Yes,
you got a
freak.
problem. You're an idiot. You cannot be wishing someone to die because you lost a bet. It's sports. There's no guarantees, you idiot.
Yeah.
It'd be like getting mad at a dealer at a card table because
Give
the
you
wrong
bad
cards popped out. You give me wrong cards, man.
Yeah.
No, it's just a deck, you dumbass. Whatever. All right, Rip City Drive, Dwight and Chad. All right, I know it's not Friday, but I felt like a little yacht rock to celebrate the beautiful weather outside, Godfather.
Good call, Chad. Real good call.
All right, I'm feeling really good today for a variety of different reasons.
Yeah, usually is related to your golfing.
It usually is, yes. Also, my daughter is currently packing, getting ready for her big trip to Maui all by herself. And
I
she's
envy
pumped.
her. I envy. That's a great trip.
Yeah, she was talking to me about school and some other stuff. I said, honey, right now, this is what I want you to be worrying about. Shave ice, bathing suits, and beach time with your cousin. That's all you need to be focused on right now. You got no worries in the world, honey.
Shave ice is the best.
Yeah.
You can't get it as good here as you get it over in Maui.
No, in Maui, it's the best. So she's on a mission to get the best shave ice on the planet. So
Good.
she's going to be taking off, flying by herself. She'll be hanging out in the airport by herself for a while, waiting for Uncle Gordon and Aunt Elaine to arrive, and her cousin Isley. And I noticed this the other day. It's amazing with kids. Where was I at? I was playing golf at Cross Creek, and one of the guys that joined our group, he had his daughter with him. She was kind of riding in the cart and being a bit of a caddy.
Mhm.
And she was a young girl. I forgot how old, maybe 6 or 7. But then one of our other guys had his niece with her, who was also about the same age. And these two girls had never met before, right?
Yeah.
By the time we got to about the middle of hole 2, these two girls were communicating and being friendly and sharing life together. And I thought, how easy is it for kids to connect and
Yeah.
become friends instantly? It just amazes me, Godfather. I wish that adults had that type of skill. You ever notice that?
Yeah, I have noticed it. Kids are great that way, though. It doesn't take them long at
No.
all.
And for Kaylee, she knows Isley, but they haven't seen each other in years. And I know for them, it will take like probably 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then they'll be best buds
Best friends.
for the entire trip.
Yep.
All right. Well, enough of my daughter. Let's get on to golf.
Yeah. Let's get to the important stuff, right?
All right. So it's been a rough go for the last, well, really 4 weeks. I've gone into a slump where I have not been able to break 80. And I've had moments where I've hit really good shots and done a lot of good things, but I'd have a couple of holes that would create problems. And so I couldn't break that 80 barrier, which is very frustrating for me because getting in the 70s that's what I love to do. Well, you know, I played earlier in the week on Monday at Rose City, had a horrendous experience, and the weather sucked, so that was doubly annoying. And then on Tuesday, I went in with the approach of saying, okay, I need to relax and just enjoy golf. Why do I enjoy golf? And I went through the entire round and then just enjoyed myself, but I had plenty of reasons to be upset because I had 43 putts, 43, which is an astronomical number. For those of you who don't golf, 43 is an awful number. It's absolutely brutal. It's like shooting 15% for the season from the three-point line in the NBA. It's not good. It's very bad. You can't score well, play good golf if you have 43 putts. So that was irritating. So yesterday was a workout day, so I didn't play golf. So I got up earlier this morning than normal, got to the golf course early, went through my normal routine of stretching and getting my body warmed up, and then I spent I dedicated about 15 minutes on the putting green of just practicing putts from about, different ranges, 10, 15, and 20 feet. Just getting a feel back because I had no feel for my putter. And I'm glad I did that because when I stepped up to the number 1 tee, based on the warm-up session I had on the range and then the practice green, I just felt good. And from the moment I hit my first drive, all the way through the entire round, I wasn't thinking about my swing. I wasn't worried about my putting stroke. It just came to me. And then I ended the round, shot a 76 today, and I finished with 31 putts.
Wow.
And that was great. There was only one annoying thing that happened on hole number 8. I tee off, and I went up there. It's a dogleg right, so I wanted to hit a push fade. I hit the push fade perfectly, get up there, and I can't find the ball. And I've got 3 dudes, me, Dan, and Glenn, bumping around like magoos looking for the ball. Can't find it.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the?
And you're pretty sure you knew where you hit it.
I knew
right?
exactly where the ball hit, where it landed, and where it should be, but I couldn't find it. I don't know if maybe some heron came in and took it away, some squirrel,
Gopher.
a gopher,
Yeah.
a mole, whatever it was, it disappeared. It's the most maddening thing. If I hit a bad shot and it goes into the woods, fine, I can live with that. But when I put one in great position and I can't find the ball, it's hard for me to accept those type of results. So to do it the right way. I went back to the tee box, teed off again, so I'm hitting 3. I hit my chip shot within 8 foot, but I missed the putt. I 2-putt, and I get the double bogey. So, but I just was like, okay, that's going to happen. Let that go. Got
Put it
up,
behind you.
striped the next shot, and then, I mean, it was just one of those days where it's like, I don't know why it took a month to get back there, but today was just that day. It was my best round of the year from the standpoint of putting was good, ball striking was good, decision making was good. My body felt good because it was warm, and man, the ball is carrying right now with the warmer air and the compression. So I feel good. That was a very good morning. That was a quality experience.
Good.
That was a
Glad
good
to hear
experience. Oh my goodness! But that's the crazy part about the game. Explain that to me. Same course, same guy, separated by 48 hours. 43 putts, 31 putts. 86, 76.
43 putts is like, there's a few 3-putts there.
I had, in that round, 6 3-putts and 1 4-putt. Wow. Today, I had 1 3-putt. And that was, and I'm bitter about that one, too. It was on hole 17. I hit my approach within, I don't know, probably 7 feet of the cup. Almost made the birdie putt. And then I had a short little putt. Most guys would be like, oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And they told me, like, you don't need to putt that shot. I'm like, no, I'm putting it. I need to work through this. And I hit it, and it lipped out. And so it had a little bit of turn to it, and it lipped out. But I was like, I can live with that. 1 3-putt on the day after what I experienced on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I overcame. And so, man, that felt good. It's just amazing to me, though. That's how crazy the game is. It's absurd. Like you, one day you're out there like, man, that's the best I've played ever.
Yeah.
And then you go out there in the afternoon after work one day, and you're falling over in sand traps and feeling all out of whack.
That was just a terrible day. From the first tee all the way through. Just didn't hit the ball the way I wanted to. I had slumped all the way back to where I was before my lesson. It was like I didn't even have a lesson. It's not the physical fatigue either. I'm not digging ditches right here. You know, it's the mental fatigue. It's getting through the whole day doing this, all the things that we have to keep in mind during the show, and then just driving directly to the course and trying to tee up a golf ball and hit it the way you want.
It is, I think one of the biggest challenges I notice is staying in the moment.
Yeah.
Not letting the game overwhelm you. Just focusing on one shot at a time and not thinking ahead, right? It's difficult to do, but I really made a focus to try and manage that today. But there you go. That's golf. I think the reason why we love it so much is because it is that difficult. No one can master it.
Yeah, it's not like hole to hole either. It's one shot at a time.
Uh-huh.
You hit a bad drive, okay, I'm going to hit a good shot out of the rough, whatever it is. I'm going to get back on track. You just can't even think about the shot before that. You just can't. Or it puts you in a hole. That's what I was doing the other night, too. It was like, God, I'm terrible. What am I doing here, you know? You start second guessing. Pretty soon you put yourself in a real bad spot.
Yeah. In fact, on hole 1, I smashed my drive. I hit my my second shot. Is a par 5. So I hit my second shot and I hit it about 220. So it just faded on me a little bit, and because the ground's a little bit firmer right now because of the conditions,
mm-hmm.
it hit and bounced, and then it skipped across the cart path, and the ball was underneath a tree, but I was just off the green, probably about 15 yards off the green. So I just needed a little, chippy. But the problem is, so I walk up there and see my ball. I'm like, great, here we go again. But I had to, right away, I had to
check yourself.
I checked myself because right away I felt myself slipping into the negative thoughts, but I was like, no, you've got this. So I punched out. It was not an easy lie, but I was able to punch out and get myself in a position to get, down until I got the par. But again, I had to check myself there because when I saw my ball after a good hit laying in that position, I'm like, great, here we go again. See how your mind, it goes back to the past, and you can't think like that. All right, let's dive into some football. I saw this from Barstool. I think you sent it over to me. Maybe Dan Lanning was right. Colorado is playing for clicks, right?
It sure looks like it.
If I saw correctly, they have the Colorado Buffaloes on their practice jerseys, the back of their jerseys, their social handles.
Yes, they did. I mean, really?
Now, my old Chad side looks at that and is like, come on, man, what are we doing here? And I think it's ridiculous. But then I thought about it for a moment. I was like, again, just like with a lot of the bells and whistles of college football that we see today or in college sports, it's not about me. It's about the kids, right? So my guess is the kids think that's freaking awesome to be able to have a jersey with their social handle on the back. And if it's in practice, it's not a game, then it's good. Because regardless of who the coach is, whether it's Coach Prime or it's Dan Lanning or whoever, if you can do something to get to their level and connect with them, and they get to have their social handle on the back of their practice jerseys, the more I thought about it, I was like, there's actually some genius about that, because you're putting yourself in a position to get on their level from kids who are from today. And social media is big for a lot of these young kids and these young athletes. Very interesting.
Don't you think Dan Lanning had a little smile on his face after seeing that?
He probably did. But I think he also, when he made those comments, was it before the game or halftime of the Colorado game last year? Like, there are a lot of coaches who are jealous of Coach Prime, too. They just are. They're jealous because he's a Hall of Famer. They're jealous because he's a better football player than they could ever dream of being. And he has a way of getting attention like nobody else does. They don't like that. They don't like it. So I understand why that would frustrate them, but I think a lot of jealousy plays in, right? Same thing with Kirby Smart and those other coaches, mouthing off about Oregon and their NIL money. They're just jealous because Phil Knight's got a bottomless pit of cash that he's willing to throw at the football program. I do think it's funny when Kirby Smart complains about not having money when Georgia's got some of the biggest donors of all time.
Yeah, they got all they need.
But isn't that cool? I mean, do you like that? Coaches learning new ways to, cater to the younger athlete and not being so rigid.
No, I didn't actually mind it at all. I just thought it was ironic in that Lanning had said, they're playing for clicks, we're playing for wins, or whatever he said. And it's like, oh, yeah, they are playing for clicks.
Yes. Of course, his comments would have more weight if he could beat his rival, too. Like if Lanning could beat Washington and be better against Oregon State, that's the next step for Lanning. His recruiting's off the charts. His coaching's getting better. He needs to start winning the rival games now.
Yeah.
That's the next step. But, man, I think, who was it? Maybe it was Ciancia. I'm trying to think who we were talking to. This is not your grandpa's or your dad's Oregon football team. It's different now. Bigger, sturdier, stronger at the line of scrimmage, and more physical.
Talk about beating their rival. They're playing number one in the country this year, at home.
Their new
That's
rival.
a game they better win. Yeah,
that's a big game.
That's going to end up being a pretty good rivalry, probably.
Well, more than likely, whoever wins that game is going to have the fast track to the title game, the conference.
When they'll probably play the same team again.
And it could have a very, well, it's going to be a big deal when it comes to seeding, too. It could be the difference of having a bye or not having a bye when it comes to the playoff. And you know as well as I do that bye is going to be critical.
Yeah.
All right, little Neil Diamond here. Crank that, man. Don't tease me, bro.
Did the Monkees write this song?
What's the next song? What's the next thing on the board? All right, Godfather, I love this note you sent over. Man, Aaron Judge really is a mythical figure. He is Paul Bunyan.
Yes.
Check out his senior high school stats. In football, 54 receptions, 969 yards, 17 touchdowns, single season school touchdown record. In basketball, All-State center, 18 points and 12 rebounds a game.
Of course.
And in baseball, averaged 500, 7 homers, 32 RBIs.
And he pitched.
9-3 with a .65 ERA, 65 Ks as a pitcher. Good gracious.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Our Paul Bunyan was Richie Sexton.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Everything he did, he was great at. Basketball, great. Football, great. He was a wide receiver in football. He played forward / whatever they needed him to play in basketball. And then in baseball, he was just off the charts.
Yeah.
Like, we thought he was great at football and basketball, and then you saw him hit a baseball. I was like, okay. We knew right away that was his sport.
Yeah.
And it was amazing for a guy who was as skinny, and that was his nickname, was Skinny. But the bat speed he could get and the power that provided when he would hit the ball was just, you see certain athletes, and you probably grew up with guys like this. You see him, and right away you're like, okay, that guy's just different.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, stud.
Incredible.
There's nothing I don't love about Aaron Judge. The guy's amazing. And he's got 2 wiener dogs, so we share that in common. He loves wiener dogs. I love wiener dogs.
He living in Bend now? He was for a while, I think, living over there somewhere.
Aaron Judge?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Richie Sexton.
I think he's over in Bend somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I saw those dogs.
I'm jealous. I want Puppy Shots to be able to run free at Yankee Stadium or some ballpark. I think that he would enjoy that.
Yeah, he's bringing those dogs on some kind of Nickelodeon television show, I guess.
He is?
Yeah, there's some sort of dog
I don't
show
watch a
on
lot
there.
of Nickelodeon, but
No, I saw it on X, so I don't know anything about it either. But he's proud of those dogs. Loves his dogs.
all right. I want to share these comments from former tennis great Martina Navratilova discussing what we're seeing right now in the Olympics, and we're seeing it across sports now, where you have this situation where you've got biological men competing against biological women. She says, Martina, quote, there are several male athletes, boxers, and soccer players competing as women, and the IOC media is okay with it. They were not born female. The DNA says male. This is not anti-trans at all. It's only trying to keep women's category female. Do you get it now? That's Martina.
Yeah,
She's taken a lot of heat for her comments.
she has taken a lot of heat.
All I can say as a father of a daughter, I'm greatly concerned about this trend that we're seeing right now where you have these biological men competing now in women's sports and doing quite well, I might add, in terms of competition. And my question to you is, like, what is the solution? Like, how do we get to a point where we figure out how this is going to go? Because all I know is that I don't want to be watching Olympic boxing with biological men beating up on biological women. That's weird.
Well, that's what happened today, and that's why Martina's talking about it. A woman went into the ring against a trans fighter. In 40 seconds, had her nose broken. They said possible concussion, and she quit. She said she'd never been hit so hard in her life, and all I know is that's the only place in the world that a man can hit a woman in the face and break her nose and not get arrested. Having them in a race or even a soccer match, I don't see that as dangerous because there's not any violence involved in those sports.
Yeah. Or
Boxing
swimming, but
is
boxing.
violent. The whole idea in boxing is get in the ring and hurt the person you're boxing.
What I don't know, and maybe you do, in terms of being able to find a solution to what's going on right now, where does that start? Does it start in government? Does it start on the local level? Does it start in Congress? How do you come up with a solution here?
I don't know, Chad. It's become such a political football nowadays that it's just being banged back and forth. And I think that's unfortunate because there's some real medical issues involved in this. And we've run into it here in Oregon. And I felt sorry for Chris Burkhardt over at the OSAA when
because they're getting criticized for decisions that
they didn't make them.
No, they're there to uphold the laws that are put into place.
Yeah. So in that respect, it's a political issue.
Yeah, the boxing's really bizarre. Really bizarre.
I mean, it's like I said, it's one thing you're going out and running a 400-meter race or something. Okay, probably not fair. Well, it isn't fair, but to me, it's a different story than getting in a boxing ring. And when you see, I saw that fight. I saw the clips of that fight. I just didn't think that guy had any business in a boxing ring with a woman.
And do you think a solution might be to create an open field for sports to where you can have trans athletes who are competing against other trans athletes? That way you keep the men and the women separate? I mean, is that one way to go about it?
Well, I think so. And the government seems to be reluctant to enforce Title IX rules, which should be enforced at this time because of this. So it might be the only way you can do it is to have a separate category for trans athletes, which is what they don't want because they don't want to be treated differently than the gender they identify with. But I don't want somebody killed in a boxing ring.
Mike Harvey says here that Martina's message is consistent and clear. She is a proud and prominent member of the LGBTQ community. She is also a woman that rose to become the best tennis player in the world. She is simply saying girls need a level playing field. That statement doesn't disenfranchise anyone. That's all she's saying.
Yeah.
Level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
All right, football. Bad news for Jim Harbaugh and his glide theory.
No kidding.
Justin Herbert's got issues right now, Godfather. It's a plantar fasciitis, which as a quarterback, you talk to any football player, they'll tell you my base from the hips down is the most important part of my body. And when you've got plantar fasciitis, it's like a hamstring or a lot of these other issues that it can be a reoccurring problem throughout the course of a season.
It's a real tough one in any sport.
So he's wearing a boot now?
For 2 weeks, they're estimating 2 weeks wearing a boot. They're also estimating that he'll be ready for the regular season. Now, the episodes of plantar fasciitis that I've seen are not cured quickly.
Well, I've always been told, and maybe Nancy's given you some insight on this over the years, but from what I've always understood with plantar fasciitis, like the best solution for it is just rest, right?
Yeah, it is.
But when you play quarterback for an NFL football team, rest is not necessarily it's not really an option.
Well, especially when that season start is bearing down on you and there's pressure to get ready to play for the season under a new coach and a new offense.
Well, you know what sucks about this? You and I would say the Chargers are one of the more intriguing football teams in the entire league this year because of Jim Harbaugh and because we love Justin Herbert. And Justin Herbert, everyone here wants him to do well because he's such a great guy. And he's such a tremendous talent. We're so excited that he's finally got a legitimate coach that's not a dum-dum. Jim Harbaugh's a great coach. But what this feels like to me, and again, we'll see how things go in terms of his treatment, but this seems like it's going to be something that will be a part of his season now.
Yeah.
That he's going to have to deal with. Like it's going to be an ongoing issue. Like he'll probably be on the injury report from now until the end of the season, just plantar fasciitis. You're going to have to deal with it. Some games it will be better than others. So really what this is going to come down to is like it is for a lot of athletes, right? It's like your tolerance to discomfort.
Yeah.
Learning how to manage it.
Yeah, and he's had some injury issues, some nagging, sometimes little things, but nagging injuries that have kind of kept his performance level down lower than it normally would be.
Peyton Manning dealt with this in his final year as well. And, of course, the problem is when you got your feet as a quarterback, your feet are critical because you always got to be moving your feet just obviously to maneuver the pocket for mobility, but also when you plant and throw. You need a strong base to be able to deliver the football accurately and with you got to be able to drive the football, and that comes from your base.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can equate it to baseball. If you don't have that base, you put your arm at risk.
Yeah.
Your arm has to compensate. You're trying to throw harder because you can't push off or you can't land. You put your arm at risk when you have problems with your feet.
Yeah. And not everyone's got the Jeff George or John Elway arm where it's like, I don't have my base. I can still wing it, at 70 miles an hour, no problem.
Well, he does have a big arm. That's the one thing.
He's got a strong arm.
Yeah.
Well, I just hate to see this, man.
I know.
It's like we finally get the perfect scenario, the perfect storm with the Chargers. And then now he's got to deal with the plantar fasciitis. I don't want my quarterback in a boot ever. That's not a good sign. You don't want your quarterback in a boot. But that's why I tell you I hate this time of year with camp and then the preseason. Because now all the names pop up. Injury here, this guy's nicked up, hip fracture, bruised scapula. You hear all these weird injuries, plantar fasciitis, and we don't need to see good guys going down.
In a week when Jim Harbaugh was boasting about his glide theory of easing people into this whole process.
Yes, correct. And now the problem is, and you know how this is going to work, this is only going to cause Jim Harbaugh to become more difficult to deal with when it comes to talking about injuries. And when he's talking about injuries, he's usually in a very bad mood, as we learned this week.
Well, he wanted to keep playing, so, you know.
Little thing.
Huh?
It's a little thing.
I don't know. I'm not going to categorize it. I'm not going to categorize it, what it is or what it is not. I'm just telling you, you're going to see quite a bit of that as we go through this first stage.
With Rashawn, though, we saw him leave practice yesterday, walk into the facility with trainers, and then you and Joe went over
Yeah, you
and
saw
had a chat
JK, you
with
saw
Mark.
Khalil. I don't know if did you see?
Yeah, I saw Josh Palmer, Hayden. But so Rashawn is the same as those guys, or it's a different situation?
Yeah, I'm not even categorizing it. I'm just saying just the exact words I use. You can just. That's what I'm saying.
So Rashawn not practicing today.
You're going to see more of it. You're going to see quite a bit of that from the starters.
Was it part of the plan for Rashawn not to practice today? That was part of the ramp up that you're talking
He said, "Hey, I got something here. I want to keep playing, but I need to take a look at it. No, we're going to take you out and move into the weight room and do some work there."
And one more, you mentioned
Abundance of caution. I know you haven't heard that term since the pandemic, but it applies to this stage that we're in right now.
There you go. Get used to that. How many times does he need to be asked about the plantar fasciitis before he just shuts that down? Once?
I would say one time. I got no further updates. I'll let you know. You'll be the first to know when we have an update.
Also, Tony and Boring chimes in, a high tolerance to discomfort. Isn't that the key to a successful marriage?
It's the key to a successful life, really. There's discomfort everywhere.
Easy, Tony, easy. Also, Craig, my boy Craig Gio. What's up, Craig? And Jeff both chimed in at the same time. Mac McClung, or Klung, or however you pronounce that guy's name, white dude to win the dunk contest.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't even part of the NBA, was he?
He's playing in the G League, I think. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. That was just recently.
Yeah. Yep. And Rip City Mike says, "Hey, guys, when I was a kid, I thought it was funny to call Kiki Vandaway."
We used to call him the Keekster.
The Keekster?
He had a unique relationship with Clyde. And David Kahn and I used to call it the buddy-buddy offense because they would pass to each other much more frequently than they would pass to anybody else on the floor. Here, buddy, go ahead, take a shot. Thanks, buddy. I'll shoot this one. All right, buddy, I'll give you this one. Back and forth the whole game. Kiki to Clyde, Clyde to Kiki. They were big buds.
Most people agree that moist is like a bad word. Like they don't like to hear the word moist. Do you have any words that make you cringe? Kinky. That's a funny word, too. Kiki Vandaway.
I don't know.
Does the word moist bother you?
No.
What about you, Shacker? Does the word moist bother you?
No, because that's describes brownies. You want your brownies to be moist.
Yeah,
your cake.
That's true. I'll tell you the word that makes me cringe is cringe. Don't you cringe when you hear that word?
Yeah, because I don't think of anything positive. Cringe.
Yeah, cringing is not good.
I think the word cringer was He-Man's cat's name, Cringer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, on the cartoon. I was a big He-Man guy back in the day.
Yeah, I missed out on He-Man.
Yeah, that was after your time.
Yeah, I know. I was a Batman and Superman guy.
I love those shows. Yeah, and then when he would transform into He-Man and he would zap his cat Cringer, he would become Battle Cat because he would grow in size.
Okay.
So it was either Cringer or Battle Cat and then Adam or He-Man. So there you go. Little cartoon update for you, Godfather. You like that?
I appreciate that, yeah.
Also, we got John Thomas who chimed in. Golf. You love it and you hate it. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, I saw you over there looking at tickets. Have you purchased anything?
No. I've made up my mind. That's not going to happen until I go home.
Okay, I'm no disrespect, but I don't believe you. So I'm trying to help you right now. Don't hit purchase.
No, I was looking.
Tempted.
And I found something that might be better than those 55, and they're only 95. So
55? Oh, you found the 95s.
I found the 95s, yeah.
Is that with or without the convenience fee?
That's not with the convenience fee. It's an additional
40?
No, it's down to about 30, I think.
All right, so you're looking at 190 plus 30, 220. Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad for you based on how Nancy might view the purchase, but you're getting into a more reasonable range where I think you might be able to sweet talk her into accepting that.
Yeah, because we're not spending a lot of money on dates here lately. We haven't gone to a lot of expensive things.
Do you guys have a usual date night during the week?
No, but with this job and with Nancy busy being a grandma and working 2 days a week, weekends are about the only times we have. We're both tired on Friday nights, so that's tough.
How well does Duncan sleep through the night?
He's not there yet. No, he's not there yet.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You can start keeping him on sleepovers once he gets to that point.
Well, we haven't had a sleepover yet. No,
Mama doesn't want that to happen yet, probably.
No, I don't think she does. I don't blame her.
So Nancy just goes over there then to hang out with Duncan.
All day, 1 day a week. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
And she's like the maid when she goes over. She cleans everything. She cooks some dinner maybe. And she's a great grandma.
She's dynamite.
Yeah.
Duncan, he's set now for life because he's got Grandma Nancy.
Pretty much. Yeah, I know when golf lessons come around that.
What do you predict Nancy's name will be in Duncan's eyes? Grandma? Grammy? Nana?
So far, it's Gaga.
Gaga.
Yeah, Gaga.
That works too.
Yeah. I'm trying to get him to call me Pop-Pop, but he's not quite there yet. He likes when I say, Pop-Pop.
Does he smile when you do that?
He does that, yeah. I make him smile pretty easy. I'm pretty good with that. But he's a good kid.
He's a good-looking boy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's going to be a big kid, too.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
His father, dad's a big dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. He needs some strength to be able to hit baseballs and drive the golf ball.
Drive the golf ball. Absolutely. That's what his dad's talking about, baseball and golf. And I think that's a pretty good call.
I got no issue with that.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to play around with Duncan when he's old enough to play around a golf. Just to say that I've been able to do that.
Yeah. Just kind of like LeBron playing with Bronny.
What's that line? I got to find that. You sent me that note about that guy. Someone actually, he might dislike LeBron more than us. Apex Jones put this up.
Yeah.
LeBron done sucked all the life out of Steph Curry's game. Curry needs his ass whooped for turning this team into a Bron ball. It's a damn shame.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's just standing in the corner waiting for LeBron to throw him the ball. It's about what it amounts to.
And Steve Kerr's too busy he's too worried about hurting people's feelings.
Feelings are a big part of this Olympics, yes.
You can't coach a team like that and worry about feelings.
No.
All right, we'll keep things rolling. Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad on this spectacular Thursday afternoon. I'm not going to lie. I do nerd out on television theme shows, and I'll get stuck on that in my YouTube vortex from time to time.
Sure.
Rockford Files is awesome. James Garner is one of my favorite actors all time.
God, he was so good. He was a great Maverick, and then he was a great Jim Rockford.
I'm trying to think of the actor. I can't remember the guy's name, but he went by. He had been on a couple of. He was going to be on Rockford Files, or had been on Rockford Files as a guest star, or he had just gotten his start. I can't think of the actor's name. Dang it! But he said he swung by. His parents came by to see him on the set of Rockford Files, and he went by to. He wanted to introduce him to Mr. Garner, and so he went by to his trailer, and he was nervous because he didn't want to upset James. And James opened up the door and said, who do we got here? And he introduced his mom and dad, and James invited him in, and they sat down and talked for several minutes. In fact, someone came in and said, James, we got to, we don't have time. We got to get to the set. And he goes, no, tell whoever needs me that to make 30 minutes. And he sat there, and they shot the breeze for an extended period of time.
That's
so from
great.
what I've been able to gather on Garner is that he was not just a great actor, but he was a man of the people, good dude.
On the show, he lived in that old beat-up trailer right on the beach.
Yeah.
Beat-up trailer or not, I would have loved living in that spot.
All right, a couple of things here. Comanche, Rip City gets it. He just sent me a GIF of Cringer. Take a look at that, Godfather. That's Cringer becoming Battle Cat on the He-Man cartoon show. So he went from being a cute little kitty to all of a sudden a Battle Cat that He-Man could ride around to defeat Skeletor and the evils of the universe. And I'm not talking about Adam Silver, the real Skeletor.
That's the first thought I had was taking on Adam Silver.
Yeah, and Skeletor had that creepy laugh too, with his jai bones. And also Craig chimed back in. Thanks for the shout out, Chad. My fiance and I are going to Portland, WV Wine Country for our honeymoon in September. Would you and the Godfather have any recommendations for a fancy dinner spot? So what is that? Portland/WV Wine Country? What's WV Wine Country? Willamette Valley.
Yeah.
Sorry, Craig.
West Virginia. No.
What? It made me think of John Denver.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're the restaurant guy. What's your recommendation, dog?
You know what I'm going to say.
Well, you got a couple of recommendations, but let's think of a good spot here. Okay, so you're going to Portland/WV Wine Country. So here's what we'll do, Craig. We will compile a list of 5. Not on air, but we'll come up with a list of 5 for you and your fiance. And congratulations, Craig. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But trust me, the one thing I've learned here's what I know about The Godfather. He and I argue about meaningless nonsense all the time. And we frustrate each other. It doesn't matter. When he talks food, The Godfather knows what he's talking about. You turn me on to that steakhouse in New York. Gallagher's.
Mm-hmm.
I went there the first night. Best filet I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
It was freaking awesome. Old school.
Yeah.
When the Godfather talks food and restaurant and service, he knows what he's talking about. You're on top of that. And I respect that.
I appreciate that.
Because your philosophy is simple. You would rather pay a little bit more, not just for high-quality food with fresh ingredients, but also to have great service, because they go hand in hand. You need the quality of food, but if the food is great and the service stinks, then your night's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And the service can be good, but if the food's not good, then that's not good. What you need great service that surrounds the great meal that you're going to have. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, it is, for sure. Yeah. We'll come up with something. We'll come up with 5. The problem, Chad, is with the restaurants, they change so much. And I have to say, in the last few years, I haven't tried a lot of these hot new restaurants that people are talking about.
Yeah, some of the newer spots.
Yeah, there's a couple out there that you have to have reservations months ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't done that.
All right, so let's put it out to the listeners as well. Craig, we're going to help you. Here's the situation. So if you're listening right now, here's what we need. Craig, who is a good dude, longtime listener, he and his fiance are coming to Portland in the Willamette Valley wine country for their honeymoon in September, and they need recommendations on some good restaurant spots. So hit us up at Dwight Janes, at Chad and Rip City, and give us some of your spots that you think would be good for Craig and his fiance. And look, don't give me any bonehead spots, all right? You know the good spots. Bring them to me. React to us. I want to hear from a restaurant connoisseur. Willamette Valley, react. All right. Okay, here is East Coast Earl, who is the guy that runs the culinary school over at Clark College.
Right.
He says Okta and the Hayward are both on point. Also, Allison Inn and Spa. And if my man East Coast Earl is telling you to go to a spot, he knows food. He ain't effing around.
Allison Inn. Where is that? I think I've been there, but it's outside of town somewhere, isn't it?
It is. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find the spot. Give me 1 second, Godfather. It is down. So let's see here. So it's heading down towards Newburgh.
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's a spa, too.
Yeah. Is this George Thorogood? Nice. What song is this, Shacker? I can't remember the title.
You talk too much.
You talk too much.
Quiet message from Shacker to us.
I've been told that a few times in my life. And also, not only do I talk too much, but, hey, Dad, why are you talking so loud? I'm not talking loud. I'm just talking. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the show. All right, at Dwight James, at Chad and Rip City, let's get some good restaurant spots for Craig and his fiance.
theme from Star Wars.
At a different tempo.
Yeah, not verbatim from the movie. But
Yeah. Okay, that's why I recognized it. There we go. All right. I've got a ton of restaurant recommendations coming in for Craig and his fiance. So keep them coming in. I'm going to compile a list, and I'll give out a lot of these names for you, Craig. But a lot of good ones coming in, so I appreciate that. For those, if you're just tuning in, Craig, who is a big-time listener, good dude, he and his fiance are going to be hitting Portland and the Willamette Valley for honeymoon. And so they're looking for restaurant recommendations, places to go check out. And the list is growing by the moment because I got a lot of good ones coming in. You talk food. Everyone's got to take on food.
Oh, for sure.
Everyone's got to take. Everyone's got a spot. They've got different places they like. And the good thing about Portland is it's one of the best food towns in the country. And not just in Portland proper, but there's good spots in the surrounding areas. You get outside of town, which is what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
And now Vancouver is starting to become,
It is.
a bit of a food town with certain restaurants popping up.
They got a 13 Coins over there.
They do.
Pretty nice place.
I like that. That's where I went for Father's Day. Very nice. I just love the setup. The service is great. I love sitting in the captain's chairs to be able to sit back and watch them prepare food.
Yes, that's a perfect place to sit. Watch those chefs do their business.
It's teamwork. It's they got to communicate. I mean, there's a lot of crap going on the line.
Yeah.
And, I started out working in restaurants, so not high-scale restaurants or upscale, but, to see the communication, what's going on, you got to work as a unit or bad things can happen. My first job ever was Red Robin over by Vancouver Mall. I was a dishwasher, and then I transitioned into busboy. Busboy was fun. I was living large back then. High school, and you leave every night from work with like 50, 60, 70 bucks in your pocket.
Oof.
Cash.
That's
Cash
dangerous when you're in high school.
Flash money, baby. It was genius. And it cost like $15 to fill the tank of my car, too.
Yeah.
But when I started driving, gas was still under $1 a gallon. Hard to remember those days.
Yeah.
My dad was telling me the other day how he remembers gas being like 25 and 30 cents a gallon.
I do. Yeah.
That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
Fill your tank for just a few bucks.
They always have the 9/10 after it, too. It was always 25.9, 31.9.
I never understood why they did that.
I don't either. I don't get that.
But, dude, my papa was one of those dudes where he had one of those little mini, note pads or whatever. He would always keep track of his mileage and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's old school right there.
I had a friend who had a little notebook, wrote it down every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time. And I'm like thinking to myself, Papa, why are you doing that? What's up with that? Back then, they called them filling stations, too. Were most of the filling stations back then like full service? You pull in, you get the window wash and the whatever?
Absolutely. And they had a couple of bays. You could pull your car in. They changed the oil. It was full service. If something went wrong with your car, you took it to the local gas station and had the mechanic, old George, at the gas station take a look at it. Yeah, it was not anything like now. But in those days, cars weren't that complicated. People fixed their own cars. I mean,
I don't think I would have been able to fix my own car even in the less complicated days.
Well, me either. But, yeah, I mean, it was different. You got to know the guy at the gas station, and you were kind of loyal to the one that was closest to your house.
Yeah. They probably didn't charge you like $3.50 to use air if you need to put a little air in your tires either.
They would run right out and put it in for you.
I hate the coin op deal.
Oh, who has quarters in their pocket anymore? Really?
I've got a little change purse that I keep in the console of my car just so I can put change that I don't want in my pockets in there.
Yeah.
What a pain in the backside that is. Who wants change? My favorite thing to do with change, I got this like deal at home, like this jar, and I put all my quarters in there. And once I fill that up to the brim, I love rolling it down to that, I think it's called like Coinstar. I don't know why, but I enjoy seeing, I love dumping the coins in and then seeing how many dollars I get back.
Yeah.
The quarters add up quick. I don't have a lot of time for the dimes or the pennies or whatever, but it all adds up quick. So every time I go, I usually end up getting like $60 in my pocket. I don't know why I enjoy that so much, but I do.
No, it's like free money.
Yeah.
Because you don't think about the coins when you put them away.
How often do you carry cash? Are you a cash guy?
I am.
Yeah.
Always have been. Always. Used to be when I was traveling, at least $100 in my pocket when I was traveling.
Now, I always like to have a little bit of cash.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you have kids, your cash disappears even quicker.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Hey, Dad. It's like, wait a second. I know what they want. They're going to just pilfer my wallet. And that's what happens. My money disappears quick.
Yeah, my son used to offer to go to the store for me all the time, and he said his summer job was keeping the change. He used to keep the change all the time.
I don't know if I told you this, but I couldn't believe it. In less than 24 hours, both of the credit cards that I carry in my wallet got hit with the fraud alerts.
Both of them did?
Yeah. 2 separate companies, 2 separate cards.
Uh,
And so I got hit with the dreaded fraud alerts.
Change your password, right?
No, it was a
You
deal
had
where
to-
they're like, did you approve this charge? I had a couple of
Oh.
charges come across for smaller amounts, but of course I didn't do the charges, right?
Right.
And so I had to tell them, no, I didn't make that charge. Well, we're canceling this card. We're going to send you a new one in the mail.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what, that sucks. Because now you know what I have to do? It's one of those dealios where once I get my card, I got to go through into all the different places where I've got the auto pay, and then I got to re-input the information and make sure I don't miss any of it.
Yeah.
All because of some dillweed that decided to use my information.
Yeah.
I hate that. Luckily, what I've done is, because I've been punked a few times like that, I write all that stuff down now.
Mhm.
So it's in one place where I can just systematically go down the line. Boom, 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 and get it all done. That stuff drives you crazy. Why should I be put through torture because some idiot accessed my card? The other thing I don't like either is when I get like a letter in the mail from one of these companies, like Ticketmaster. Oh, we had a data breach. Your information could have been
Yeah. Could have been, might have been.
it probably was accessed. We're not
Yeah.
sure. Well, thanks for nothing, morons.
Yeah.
I buy tickets and you charge me all your convenience fees, and then somehow you get breached, and then my data is available to
Yeah.
some Nimrod.
Right.
What's up with that? And who are the schmendricks that send out that letter too? It's a cold letter. Oh, sorry. Hey, by the way, your data may have been exposed.
Yeah, and what are you going to do for me to cause me this much inconvenience? I ought to get 20% off the next tickets I buy.
Yeah, or maybe you just waive the convenience fees the next time I buy tickets. They don't
Yeah,
do any
of
of that
course.
crap. They get over on that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
The only time that I ever felt like I got my money's worth on a payback was when, last year or 2 years ago when Southwest, the bad weather caused all those flights to be canceled and stuff. And Southwest, they made me an A-list and gave me 60,000 points.
Whoa.
And I was like, all right, you won me over.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's my love language right there. Points and A-list. So for the entire year, for one full calendar year, A-list, which meant I got automatic check-in.
Yeah, you're in the first group.
Yeah, and then 60,000 points, which bought me a bunch of free flights. I was like, I'll do anything now. Like that one act, because I was bitter about the flight being canceled and stuff and the nonsense, but that one act of generosity, it won me over.
Yeah, and people should know they're not going to just give you that. You usually have to complain to get it.
Yeah, I didn't have to complain. I just got it.
No,
They
that
sent me
was
an
lucky.
email notification that said, we're really sorry, blah, 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 blah.
Wow,
And then before you know it, boom, deposit made in my account. I was like, dang,
that's
you guys are on
pretty good.
top of it. And it's not too often you get service like that from a big company. Usually they stroke you. I remember my mom, she bought, I think it was a hairdryer it was like a Vidal Sassoon hairdryer, right?
Mhm.
And the heating element came out. It popped out of the hairdryer, and it burned her like a hole in her hair, and it burned her dome, right?
Oh gosh.
And my parents are not like litigious people where they're always looking for
Yeah, an
anything to
angle.
go sideways, an angle to be able to score money. They're not about that. My mom just sent a letter of concern saying, hey, just so you know, your hairdryer, the heating element popped out and it burned my hair. I just thought you should know this in case you need to do a recall or whatever. Well, they sent her the same hairdryer, a replacement in the mail, and a sorry letter. And I was like, that's the best you got?
Yeah,
The same hairdryer that burned her, you
Yeah.
send that to her in the mail.
yeah.
Really nice. That's the best you got.
That's crazy.
But whatever. What can you do? What can you do, Godfather?
Yeah, my friend whose wife worked for an airline for years used to tell me the key is walk right up to the customer service and say, how do you plan to compensate me for this massive, massive problem?
Yeah. Now, I'm one of those weirdos, too, where, like, if I'm waiting at the gate and they make that announcement like, "Hey, are you willing to give up your seat?"
Oh,
I do it all the time.
do you?
Yeah, because I'm usually flying solo. So one time I was in Sacramento waiting to come back to Portland, and they said they needed a seat, and I offered it up. And what they did is they put me on a flight that needed to fly to Phoenix, and then I would fly from Phoenix to Portland. So I was in Sacramento. I boarded a plane, flew to Phoenix, and then got on a plane to fly to Portland. So it destroyed the rest of my day. But I got like a bunch of, they gave me like a whole bunch of money in vouchers. And I just saw it as like, okay, this is going to be annoying, but if I do this, then I'm going to get all this money I can use for flights.
Yeah, my brother is a specialist at that. He's done that many times. When I was flying a lot, it used to be I had a real good idea of what their top range was.
Yeah.
So you'd sit there and they'd say, all right, $300 in United Credit if you no, that's not enough. It's not enough. And they get desperate enough, it just keeps climbing. And you wait till they get up high enough, and then you jump on it.
To where you know the number, okay, that's a fair number.
Yeah.
Because they're going to try and get away with giving you the minimal, right?
Yeah. I always feel like I'm not in a position, though, to take another flight. I want to get there on schedule when I'm supposed to get there. I got a rental car waiting for me, a hotel waiting for me. I don't want any delays or inconvenience.
And if you're going to delay me and inconvenience me, then I need proper compensation.
Yeah. See, usually you're on vacation, you have X amount of days. You don't want to lose a day.
That's true, but I was coming back home.
Oh,
So I just delayed by multiple hours the time I was going to get back to Portland.
yeah.
And it paid off because I ended up getting multiple flights out of that little, that deal.
Mm-hmm.
But it was easy for me because I was alone. If I had, if you're traveling with kids or whatever, then it's like, nah, I'm not giving up my seat. But they get desperate enough. They start offering up the vouchers. I'm like, I'm in. And the vouchers had like, they gave me like a 2-year period to use it too. So it wasn't some type of 3-month or 6-month.
Yeah.
They pull the shenanigans on you.
Yeah, it's often 1 year is all you get.
Yeah. So there you go. That is that. Okay. We're going to keep things rolling. When we come back, hopefully we can scoop together some of these restaurant recommendations for you. For Craig and his fiance, they're going to honeymoon in the Willamette Valley in Portland, which is cool. And I don't know what's going on in the studio today, but it's not cold in here. It feels normal.
It's weird.
You're rocking shorts and a T-shirt
It must
today.
be because I wore the shorts and T-shirt.
Well, we just finally accomplished a segment about nothing. I like that. Good work.
Yeah.
That was really good work.
Yeah, it worked out nice. And we got another segment about nothing coming up probably.
Yeah.
When we talk restaurants.
We do have a Bo Nix update.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can't miss that.
Bo Nix update next. Rip City Radio wants to send you on an unforgettable trip to Victoria, BC on the Black Ball Ferry Line. Check out the contest page at ripcityradio.com today for complete details and your chances to win. The package includes a one-night stay for two at the Chateau Victoria Hotel and Suites, round-trip fare on the Black Ball Ferry Line, a pair of tickets for the Bouchard Gardens, a pair of tickets to the Skywalk, and a pair of tickets on the double-decker hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour. I'm kind of down with Edgar Winter.
Yeah, I can see that.
Nice work, Shacker. Appreciate that. Bo Nix update is coming in just a moment. All right, Craig. We have not composed a top 5 list yet, but we have a number of suggestions that are rolling out for you. So I'm going to share some of these. Godfather, I'll start with you. Give me a couple of recommendations for Craig in terms of where he should take his fiance.
Well, let me start with the 2 standbys that you know I'm going to say.
Yes.
Because if you're looking for a steak, you hit El Gaucho or Ringside in downtown Portland. They're both just spectacular. Tremendous service, tremendous food. You will not regret it. Great places. Now, I have some other ones coming up that are a little off the beaten track, maybe.
Those 2 places are terrific
Yeah,
because
you
the
know
service is exceptional.
Yeah.
Great ambiance, great service. You're going to be left alone. You can have a wonderful conversation and enjoy your evening at both spots.
Professional servers who know how to serve you and not interrupt your meal, not have to ask who's having what. They just know how to do it.
I am amazed at how they can look at a table, understand what's going on, and know when to pop in and pop out.
Mm-hmm.
The timing on when to pop in and when to pop out is critical.
Yeah.
Because if you linger too long, you might disrupt the conversation.
Yeah.
They just got it down.
Yeah. You don't even know they're there, really. They're so unobtrusive.
It's fabulous. All right. Here are a few recommendations that have come in so far. My man Comanche says Rudy's Steakhouse in Salem is top-notch. I have not been to Rudy's Steakhouse. Have you been there, Godfather?
I think I have, but it's been so long that I can't recall anything. I think it's in downtown Salem, if it's the place I'm thinking of.
All right. David Michaelis, who is a good friend and someone that I trust a great deal. He knows food. I've eaten with him before. He knows what's going on. He says Cann, Kann.
Oh, that's one of the top new places in town.
Yeah, he says it's tough to get into, but the food and drinks are amazing. He said that Haitian food is not for everyone, but it's absolutely fantastic. And then he sent me some pictures of his latest trip to Cann and said it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Got to get your reservations well in advance, I understand.
But Craig, you're already planning ahead, so getting a reservation to enjoy Cann is something I don't think would be an issue. Also, a restaurant, and I've actually eaten at this restaurant. Travis took me there, and it's really good. If you're in the Sherwood area, which is on your way to the Willamette Valley, Mason, which is in Sherwood, and that came in from Debbie Larson-Reed. And Mason is a very good spot.
I don't think I've ever heard of Mason.
It's terrific.
What kind of food, Chad? Just
Italian.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great. Good service. It's off the beaten path because it's out there in Sherwood.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little area where the restaurant is located, and it's a good spot with very good service. And so I was impressed because for me, I'm like you. Like I've been to some good places. I love great food, but I also want exceptional service as well.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite spots in town is Ox. I've had many things on the menu. My favorite, I think, is the lamb chop. Big fan of lamb. Now, is your brother into fancy restaurants, or is he
Not
just
so
the
much.
fast food guy?
No, he's more a fast food guy.
So, Craig, if you and the fiance are looking for fast food, you hit up the Godbrother, and he'll dial you in.
He'd probably tell you to hit In-N-Out in Salem. Geyser.
Now, forget all this nonsense. You don't want to spend that much money on dinner.
Well, if you come from an area that doesn't have In-N-Out, that's your lunch place because everybody has to try In-N-Out.
Terrific. Also, let's see here. Tony and Boring says Riverview Restaurant, live piano playing, taking requests. What more do I need to say?
Where's that?
I don't know. I've never been to Riverview restaurants. Let's see here. Is that Milwaukee? Where's it at? Let's see here. Let me find the directions here. Riverview Restaurant. It's out in, it looks like it's, you go out past McMinimum's Edgefield.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
pretty
up
far
in the, you turn off the freeway there. You go up into the woods, and it's by the river. So that might be a pretty good spot. I've never been there. Have you
Yeah.
been up there?
I think I have now that he mentioned it. I think it's relatively new.
I went to a place up there. It wasn't that place, but Blazer Kin had a birthday party up there once. I think it was the Tippy Canoe.
Oh, yeah, Tippy Canoe.
Yeah.
That's an old favorite up there.
Blazer Kin had a burger on the menu up there that he thought was terrific. And so I went up and he had a big party. It was a big party. I forgot, maybe this was like back in 2017, 2018, somewhere in that area. But the Tippy Canoe with Blazer Kin up there, that was a lot of fun. That location was actually on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with a guy.
Yeah.
He went up to the Tippy Canoe.
Yeah, and if you're talking about someplace with a river view, I've been several times to the Stone Cliff Inn. It's listed as Oregon City, but it's outside Oregon City. It's right on the Clackamas River, but it's up on a cliff. And this time of year, they have an outdoor patio where you can sit and look at the river in a nice warm evening. They have great desserts. As I recall, I think they have a really good barbecue brisket there. It's a good place, good spot.
Also, Chris Cohn chimes in and says Black Rabbit at Edgefield. Said it's good. They have a great ribeye. Do you like ribeyes?
Not so much, no.
That's not your cut, is it?
No.
And as I mentioned before, East Coast Earl, who is the director of the culinary school up at Clark College, we're actually going to go up there and do a show up there and get a chance to see what he's got going on. But East Coast Earl knows food. The guy's a genius. He says Okta and the Hayward are both on point. Also, Allison Inn and Spa, which
Right.
you said you've been up there before.
I have.
But it's
Very
been a
good
long
food.
time.
Yeah.
Good food, though.
Yeah. It's in Newburgh. It's a drive, a little bit of a drive.
But Newburgh's right in the heart of, on your way to the valley.
Yeah.
And
wine
Willamette Valley.
country.
Wine country, baby. All right. Let's see here. What else we got?
I had the Chart House, and it's an old favorite. But if you're taking somebody who hasn't been to Portland a lot, on a night like this, when the sun's out, great view of the whole city, really, that's a nice spot. Good fish there, too.
I haven't been up there. Last time I was up there was with, Boss Man Jennings.
Oh, really? That's a long time ago.
Yeah, and I remember that night because it was I was up there when the Yankees won their last World Series. They were playing the Phillies. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, early in the century.
But what I like about the spot is that you sit up there on the hills, so it's got a great view.
Mm-hmm.
It's way up there.
Yeah, it is.
When I was driving up there, I was like, the Chart House is up here? I had no idea.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time. Shall we do it? How about a Bo Nix update?
The Rip City Drive presents the Bo Nix Update.
I watched all the quarterbacks just hoping that one day I could be one.
Here on 620 Rip City Radio.
Yeah, turn that up. Do you like Eddie Money?
Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah. I love a rainy night.
No, that's
Was that not him?
Eddie Rabbit.
Oh, it wasn't Eddie Rabbit?
Yeah.
Hey, Eddies are Eddies.
Eddie's
Is this
or
Eddie
Eddie's.
Munster?
Yeah.
I like Eddie Money. Take Me Home Tonight.
Yeah.
It's a great song. I also love Eddie Rabbit, too.
I just want Bo Nix to be your baby.
Dude, I Love a Rainy Night was like one of my favorite songs when I was younger with me and my cousins. Like, we thought that song was great. Because in Oklahoma during the summertime, we get those thunderstorms with the lightning that would roll in.
Yeah.
Like, we get lightning out here occasionally, but, man.
Oh, it's not like Colorado or Oklahoma. They have some real thunderstorms.
Oh, when we were up on top of Conifer Mountain, when the afternoon thunderstorm would roll in, it sounded like the voice of God rumbling on top of your dome. And then the lightning strikes, a flash. It was so bright. It's like, and when the dark clouds, and then you get that bright flash of lightning, that's makes the hair on your neck stand up. Especially when it's a little too close for comfort, right? You're like,
yeah, I was in the middle of the night driving from Air Force Academy into Denver, hit one of those thunderstorms, and actually pulled over to the side of the road until it ended. I just didn't want to be a part of that. I swear that lightning strikes were hitting all around me. I didn't want any part of it.
That's where my aunt and uncle live, Elena Gordon, in Colorado Springs, and I've been to multiple football games at Air Force. I love the pageantry. I love going up there for games. 6,500 feet above sea level at that stadium. That is.
I remember walking up the stairs.
Thin air, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's check in with Sean Payton after practice today on the quarterbacks.
on the quarterback front, you flipped the two guys out last few days. Is that indicative at all of where you sort of stand?
Yeah. Look, it's not etched in stone. We talk about it at the beginning of the week. It's hard to rotate three through the first group. All three of them, I thought, had a good day today. We'll see how Saturday goes. Saturday, we're going to have a little bit more of a different type of practice. It's not going to be a scrimmage, but there's going to be like 3 phases, special teams mixed in, move the ball, if you will. And we haven't met on that relative to the reps in the rotation. And then Sunday, then we'll map out the plan for the week leading up to Indianapolis. So that's kind of where we're at.
Sean, I imagine you don't spend a lot of time on the Hall of Fame game unless you're playing in it, but with the new kickoff rules, will you at least take a peek at it or see how it's...
Yeah, we will. Everyone will, I'm sure, just to see. We'll probably just, I won't watch the game. I think it's tonight. It used to be on the weekend. So anyway, it's tonight. We'll get the film of it, and we'll look at it quickly. The officials were in last night. We had a meeting with them. We spent a lot of time with them on really the 2 significant rule changes are the kickoff and then the hip drop tackle. Watched a lot of film with them. We have them out here. We'll have them out here. We had them today. We'll have them out here tomorrow. We'll have them out here Saturday. And I think it's really good for us. It's good for any team when you can get a full crew. One of our crews in the league working with the players, talking to them about why they threw a flag out here. So it's good to have the officials here.
All right, there's Sean Payton. So basically not really giving up too much information, but what we do know is that Bo Nix is coming off of what is probably his best practice to date.
Yeah, that's what
Bronco
people
uniform.
are saying. Yeah.
And again, from the people I talked to in the Denver area, Godfather, he's on point. I mean, in terms of a youngster being on top of the playbook, making sure they're in the right formation, he's just got that acumen to where he's not running things as smoothly as coach would want, but to be to where he's at right now as a rookie, it's a lot of good signs with Bo.
I heard Dan Orlovsky today talking on a show about what an adjustment it is for a college quarterback. And he was talking about Caleb today. But same thing. In college, they're holding up signs or the whatever to give you the play, and the guy goes into the huddle, and it's not very many words, and he's just telling the players what it is. A lot of times it's check with me at the line of scrimmage now. The RPOs and all that stuff don't take a lot of verbiage. In the NFL, it's like 15, 16 words. You hear it in your ear, and then you got to remember it all and tell the other players in the huddle. Then you got to get up to the line of scrimmage, recognize the defense, change your play if you have to. It is so much more difficult for a quarterback coming in his first season. It's really tough.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The learning curve. I can't think of a harder transition in all of sport to go from college to the NFL and running an NFL football team with I don't know what the right word is, like the advanced offense, it's complex.
It's sophisticated.
Yeah, sophisticated.
Very. Yeah.
And you've got to know, like we were talking about with, like an elite quarterback, great quarterbacks have to know not just the play, but they need to know where every other guy in the field needs to be. They're responsible for everyone.
Yeah, they're giving blocking assignments. They're giving routes to receivers. They're giving running backs what they're supposed to do, and then a snap count. All that stuff in one play. And there's so many different options for each person, each segment of the team.
And in the middle of all of that, you have to pay attention to your demeanor because they're looking to you for direction.
Yeah.
When things go sideways or a negative play, you've got to make sure that you keep the guys upbeat. If they're dragging or not doing the right things, you got to get on their ass. Everything. There's just a lot going on there.
Yeah, and, it's like Yogi Berra used to say about hitting. It's hard to think and hit at the same time. It's hard to think and be a quarterback at the same time. You want those things to just come instinctively, naturally, see it and do it, But in the beginning, everything has to be so processed quickly that I'm sure it's really going to be difficult for a first-year quarterback.
Yikes. Well, it's going to be fun to watch. Denver's first preseason games against Indianapolis. I like what he said there, where all the coaches are going to pay attention tonight, right? To check out what's going on with the Bears and the Texans, check out the formations, the kicks, and everything to see what the new kicking rules are all about. Like, that's a brand new world they're walking into there.
Yeah. And that hip drop tackle is another thing. We haven't really even talked about that, but some of the guys are going to have to change again the way they're tackling people.
Hard to be a defender in the NFL nowadays.
They got to just paint a little tiny target on them, and that's where you have to hit them.
And that's really what it's all about. It's almost impossible to do your job. It is hard.
Yeah.
And my biggest concern, if I were a defender, is like, you have all this information go through it. How do you just go out there and react to what you're seeing? Because athletes are at their best when they're reacting, Godfather, not thinking. But if you got so many rules and the changes, and then you got to think too much, and then all of a sudden guys don't react, or they're afraid to pull the trigger and they get beat, and they get yelled at by their coach. I don't know what you do. I guess you do the best you can to execute according to the letter of the law. And if you make a mistake and you get hit with the penalty, then so be it. But at least you're out there. You're doing the best you can, knowing that there's going to be a time or two where you hit a guy too high, or you go to make the tackle and he slips and drops down and you end up making contact with the head. I don't know what you can do. You can't eliminate all of that.
No.
That what they really don't want, it's the guys who are careless, who the repeated blows to the head. Like, they don't want that type of garbage.
Yeah.
The
and
ones
there
that,
are repeat offenders.
Yeah, there are guys who are, they're either dirty or they're sloppy when they're with their technique, or both. And you can't have that in the game. Most guys, I mean, you know this, it's probably like this in all sports. From what I've been told from guys who played in the NFL, there's like an understanding. It's like, hey, we all want to win. We all want to play hard and do our job. But we're all out here as a community. We're trying to make a living for our family.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood.
It's
right?
a brotherhood. So
fraternity.
We try to protect each other. I can't provide for my family if I rip up my knee or if I get my noggin knocked again. Like, I can't do it. So let's try to protect one another. And then, of course, we shared this story before, but Larry Fitzgerald was known for going to the secondary on the opposing team before games and saying, look, if you get fined, I'll pay your fine, but hit me high. Don't go low and cut me at the legs. He would rather get dinged up in the dome than take a shot on his legs, because he knew to have a long career, he needed his base to be strong. But if he had foot injury, knee injury, get his ankle busted up, that he may not be the same football player. That's crazy.
Yeah, because that's inviting a concussion.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we ask? Oh, we never got around to it. Did we ask Chad Brown? We forgot to ask Chad Brown about how many concussions he's had.
Yeah, next time. We'll get him again and ask him.
Most guys know. Do they know the exact number, or do they forget?
Well,
seriously.
They probably forgot him 30 seconds after they got the concussion. But, yeah, a lot of guys do keep track.
Shacker, how are you feeling about the 49ers this year?
Oh, they're probably going to win another championship this year. At least another Super Bowl.
Just the arrogance in which he said that makes me sick to my stomach.
Very cavalier. He was very, very
They'll
casual.
probably be 17-0 or maybe 16-1.
And why do you always pick audio bites in the opening for the show where it's someone just taking a slide at the Denver Broncos? I mean, it's bad enough that I've got to sit here on YouTube with this ridiculous 49er sweatshirt over my shoulder. But you got to take audio digs on my show at my team?
It's just coincidence. It's just a coincidence that it happened 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's Michael Shacker if you need him. All right, we'll come back.
And you don't need him.
I don't need him. Well, I do. That's the problem. Is like, I don't want him, but I need him.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back and hand out some high fives. You got the Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad. It's so important for students to have the tools they need for a successful school year, and to that end, we have partnered with our friends at Lazy Boy for the annual Stuff the Bus School Supply Drive. Now through August 19th, donate a backpack or 10 miscellaneous school supply items at any of the 6 local Lazy Boy locations, including Salem and Eugene, and you'll receive up to 25% off on your Lazy Boy purchase. Some exclusions apply. The Salvation Army will distribute your donations to local families in need, and as always, we thank you for your generosity. Get more details on the community page at z100portland.com. All right, Godfather, you got any high fives you want to hand out?
Kind of a tough one today, Chad. I'm trying to work this out the best I can, but I got to give one to Justin Herbert. Man, hang in there, would you? Gosh.
I'm going to hand mine out to Kiki Vandaway.
Good call.
Happy birthday, Kiki. Or as Rip City Mike says, Kinky Vandaway. So juvenile. I love it so much. Shaq, you got anything over there?
Yeah, I want to give a high five to who's ever in charge of this building's AC. We have no reason to complain about it anymore. It's kind of nice. I'm not freezing cold, even though it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, we're not either.
No, it's warm. It feels normal in here today.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the air conditioning is broken.
Well,
it's going to be extra hot tomorrow.
All right, here's a kickoff. Here's a kickoff right here. Bears, Texans, Hall of Fame game. And put it back on the kickoff, you morons. Oh, they're doing some interview on the sideline. Dang. Show the kickoff. I want to see what this looks like, Godfather.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, boom. And they got the landing zone
landing
highlighted.
zone marked off.
Boom. There it is.
See, once you get past that.
Oh. Flag.
Yeah.
That looks interesting. It looks
He
interesting.
didn't do much with that kick return.
All right, we're going to go out to the phones. Hopefully, he's going to be on his best behavior.
Be nice.
Yesterday, he let a unfortunate term slip out, so we had to let him go. But that's what you get from Raider fans sometimes. Brash entertainment. Raider Mike is back. What's up, brother?
Chad, that's not going to happen, and I need you to know, and the rest of the state, both states, I have Asperger's. I'm on that spectrum. Isaiah's on that same spectrum. Sometimes we can't control what we say.
No, I understand. It just came out. It's all right, Mike. I'm
I
not
know.
mad at you.
It was bad. It was bad. It was bad, and I apologize. That's my whole point of this. Now, next, golf. I show up. I don't sing for my fans, which you keep making fun of. Show up to my bar on
No,
Friday.
wait a second. I think you said that you had – no, didn't you have like a couple that was requesting songs for them?
That happens every now
Love
and then,
songs.
Yeah,
it was
they
love
were
songs.
requesting love songs because I guess
Yacht
they –
music. Yacht music.
Yacht rock.
I can do yacht music, but I'm Led Zeppelin, bro. I'm AC/DC.
I have no issue with that.
Way to hell, you know.
I understand. No, I'm with you.
Okay. Now, let's get our golf appointment set up because you didn't show up the last time. I quit singing for one night
What do you mean I
for
didn't show
you to go play golf.
I was injured. I couldn't play. The Godfather
I know
took it
you
out of
told
me.
me that.
Yeah,
I told you.
I couldn't walk. My hip was destroyed
Well,
after
call me
36 hours.
before I drive all the way out to wine country. It is a beautiful course, though.
Yeah.
I love that course. It
Beautiful.
rocks. That's why I want to get this done. And we have a lot to talk about, Chad. Off air. We really do. So anyway.
Okay, that sounded rather ominous, Mike.
No, let me get an update. How you
No,
feeling?
Dwight,
Yeah.
stop. Your name is your grandson's Duncan, right?
Yeah, Duncan.
Yes.
Coolest name ever.
I love
Are
that
you
name.
Scottish?
No,
Are you Scottish?
no.
Hey, Mike.
You don't know.
Hey, Mike, I need an update. Give me. I want an
What?
honest prediction. Honest, not a crazy prediction. How many wins for the Raiders this year?
Hold on. I got a Brock Bowers update. You do your Bo Nix thing?
Yeah.
Guess what? That unicorn with Michael Meyer on the other side, that's Aaron and Hernandez and the Gronk coming at you hard. He jacks Crosby. Jacked him today. It's on film. You jack Crosby? Oh, yeah. The party's on.
Love Crosby.
We have the most vicious line ever. And I've had Matuzak. I've had Alzado. I've had Sistrunk. I've had Howie Long. No, these boys are going to go above that. So, when are we playing golf, Chad?
No, how many wins? I asked you for a prediction. Focus.
We're going to win 10. We're going to win 10.
All right.
And we're going to go to the playoffs. The Muppet King he ain't down yet, but it's coming.
Hey, why is your team making fun of Mahomes? I mean, that's not a smart idea, right?
Well, no, because I did that from the beginning. 6 years ago? I labeled him the Muppet King.
I know,
Yeah,
but why are you? You're not.
Apparently, it's catching on.
You started it, right?
Yeah, I labeled that when I was at COVID. Remember when I was calling you from Vegas from COVID?
I know.
I said Muppet King.
You got to focus. Raider Mike doesn't focus. I ask him questions. He goes off on a different tangent.
He told you he's on the spectrum.
He is. Isaac's on the spectrum. My Raider Mike's on the spectrum. Has Isaac ever dropped a bomb on the radio? I can't get him to come on anymore.
I can't believe that. Tell him I want him on. I mean, I'm missing him.
It's crazy. Like he when he wants me to do something for him, he expects me to answer right away. But I'm like, yeah, why don't you come on the show? He's like, he's a no-show. He won't. I don't know. He's got other things going on, I guess. I highly doubt that the Raiders are, one, going to have the most fierce defensive front ever, and two, win 10 games. Hard to see that happening. And I don't care who your tight end is because you don't have a quarterback. We like Gardner Minshew, but I'd rather have Justin Herbert. I'd rather have Justin Herbert with plantar fasciitis than I would Gardner Minshew, and obviously Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And making fun of Patrick Mahomes if you're the one that has to play against him, dumb.
If you're a rookie?
Yeah.
How dumb is that? I mean, the veterans got to put a gag on that kid.
My guess is the vets weren't cool with that.
Yeah.
That's where you pull them and say, look, keep your mouth shut, man. What are
Yeah.
you doing? Because, one, the rookies, you probably won't be out there. You're writing checks that you don't have to cash.
Right. You don't have to face the music like we do.
Yeah, and Mahomes is going to take it out on us now. Thanks for nothing. All right, Raider Mike.